Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite Dark Sorcerer here, Angelus, son of Abaddon. And today, I'd like to discuss with you about purging yourself and returning to basics. Okay? Now, why would you want to purge yourself? And what does it mean to purge yourself? Well, let's think about this for just a minute. As time grows, you get comfortable, you become lazy, you become bored even. Hey, Shelly 333. Good afternoon. You even become low on energy. Okay? Think about how much energy that you expel throughout the day between work, between family, and most importantly, your own personal self and your practices. If you're lucky enough to have a spouse, for an example, that is also a practitioner, cool. But what type of practices do you do together? Okay? Think about that for just a moment. What kind of practices do you perform with your spouse in this arena of magic? Okay? If you have one that is more of a white light practitioner and you're a dark arts practitioner, they kind of cancel out each other's workings, right? So you're doing your own things in secret. You're doing your own things by yourself, and it gets tiring. It becomes taxing on yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay. Seeking Serpent 6 in Willow. What's going on? And it's purging yourself and your energies of this. It may be a negative force that is hindering you and literally being as an anchor, holding you back or holding you down so that you're basically dragging one foot behind you. That's definitely going to weigh on your hips, right? Not just your lower back and your core, but having that dead weight being pulled is going to slow you right down. This is why it's always good to purge yourself, to cleanse yourself, okay? Because I'm part native on my dad's side, when I go to a powwow, normally around September 1st through the 3rd, this year, I'm not sure if it's going to happen because of what's going on, but still, what I would do is I would go to a tobacco shop, pick up 2 bags of tobacco, and I would go to the firekeeper when I get to the powwow. First thing I do, right there, because the firekeeper is not only responsible for keeping that fire going from the time that the powwow starts to the time it ends, but his responsibility is to maintain that fire so it does not go out, because if it goes out, powwow over. Bam, done. Okay? So his responsibility in this case is to maintain that fire. But that's not his only job. Okay? His other job is to purify the people, much like a shaman would do. They use white sage. Okay? And they would purify you, purge you of the blockages, purge you of all the negative energies, and bless you. Okay? They would literally bless you in that manner. The feather, the sage, one side, down the other, left and right, the whole king caboodle. And you'd give them, the firekeeper, a gift. Giving that gift is something that is saying, thank you. Thank you for doing that for me. Working with demons is another great thing. Purging yourself of unwanted individualists or spirits is another great way to purge yourself, because when you're working with two sides of the coin, you're canceling out your magic. You're draining that well and you're not tapping into it for benefits. It's the same thing with keeping your altar clean, keeping it unconstructed. Okay? But what about going back to basics? You probably noticed that I haven't been online in about 3 weeks. 2 of those weeks, I didn't have internet. So I couldn't do videos on YouTube, because the only way I can do videos on YouTube is through my laptop. And through laptop is internet connected. Okay? So I spent the first week studying, practicing, trying to rejuvenate, recuperate from 10 years of not having a vacation. It's kind of hard nowadays because I'm also a family man. I'm not just a practitioner. My better half is of the enemy camp. So those of you who have that same issue, trust me, I understand fully. But she respects what I do. And she may believe in that false dogma. But guess what? She knows that what I do works. And she will literally call me out on some of it because of the fact that when I get angry, it affects the weather. Okay? Especially with spell workings. She's seen what I'm capable of doing through magic, through sorcery. But like I said, 10 years of not having a vacation, I decided, you know what, since I don't have internet, I'm going to focus on me on my 3 days off. I'm not going to do any video. I can't do any videos, but hey, I can do it this way. I did a couple of videos on Facebook instead last week. I started doing them on Facebook. But last week I was talking with an elder. And I asked a specific question because I came across a different circle from the current path working that I'm on. And apparently I had him backwards, which was an amateur mistake, but I should have known better. So I figured, you know what? I got to do something. I'm feeling that drag. I'm tired all the time, constant pain, So after I had this talk with him and I told him what I was thinking about doing, he said, I recommend this book to you. And then you'll be where I am. It's like, cool. When I get paid, I'll get it. So I ended up last week tearing down my altar room. Literally, I tore it right down. I washed 3/4 of the walls, got rid of all the seals, got rid of all the, everything. Hey, Kellyanne. I got rid of a lot of things. And I tore up the circle that I had on the floor. and put down the new one. I blessed and consecrated the inner sanctum. I put up banners, put up the wardings and the seals, all of that stuff. Hey, Black Tower, what's going on, man? And then what I did was, that first night after I reconstructed my altar, is I did the void meditation. And it felt just like vertigo. Literally vertigo. I kid you not. Those of you who have ever had vertigo know exactly what I'm talking about. That's where your inner ear bones shrink, causes you to lose balance, causes you to feel like you are dizzy, nausea, even. And what was interesting in this was I was sitting in complete darkness. There was nobody in the house besides me and 3 cats. I had lavender going. I had one incense, one incense. I think it was either amber or, if I remember correctly, it was either amber or it was sandalwood. They both look alike to me. Normally, I can tell by the scent. But and then I had dragon's blood burning in the, charcoal wise, just burning. And I just sat there. I put myself into a meditative state. I just stared off into darkness, just see what would come my way. I saw images, seals. So it was a good start. It was that reconnecting with Zazazel and the Tower of Atropi. So going back to basics is basically what I did. I didn't break any of the pacts and the rules that I made, the pacts and the deals that I've made with other beings. No, I actually let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got planned. So before I did anything. So because I'm still working with a lot of them, I decided, since I got the banners up and I've got all these wardings and reversals and cloakings and all this stuff up on the walls. Now I got the circles up on, one circle on the altar, one on the floor. I'm beginning my practices anew, is basically what I'm doing. And it's interesting because of the fact that I've decided I'm no longer going to work with celestials. I'm going to be working solely with the Forgotten Realms. I'm going to be working solely with the Demerge only. I'm not working with angels. I'm not working with anything of the JCI or anything of that nature. So one of the things that I came across while reading about a week and a half ago in the Grimoire of Abaddon, Book 4, E.A. Coetting spoke of a reversed exorcism and actually put a method down for it. And it was very, very interesting because when I read it, it was like it sparked something in me, which is why I initially tore down my altar, why I cleansed that entire chamber. I put down graveyard dirt. I put down sulfur. I put down salt, sea salt. My next step is the rite of naming, the rite of awakening. That will be done today, later today. The next step after that is the reversed exorcism. to banish the unwanted eyes of the enemy in my chamber. And then from there, I'm going to start working with the unholy trinity. I am going to be working with the lords and ladies of Atropy. And I'm going to be working both within my traditional satanic path working, but also my necromantic path working. And I'm going to continue doing what I do and what I love doing. So it's always good to reset that clock, to go back to basics, to purge yourself of that unwanted energies. The second of the 7 deadly practices, the forbidden arts, necromancy being the first, geomancy being the second, aeromancy being the third, pyromancy the fourth. Should I go on from there? Check out the Munich manuscripts for the 15th century necromancer, Willow. It's got a lot of, how should I say this? Exercises for you to do, experimentation-wise. So yeah, there's a lot that you can do. And yeah, I do feel I am a little bit drained. I had a massive week. You know, work was draining mentally, physically, and emotionally. But on top of that, my old knee injury flared up on me. So I had my knee in a knee brace for the week. So the things come in threes. And then on top of that, I was repairing my son's mother's vehicle, and I've got to do mine as well. So there's a lot going on. But right now, this is what I'm doing. This is my path working that I'm putting forth right now, and what I've been doing since last week. So when you look at your own personal growth, when you look at your own personal evolution, there's going to come a time when you start questioning, what's the reason for doing this? Why continue on? What should I do? How should I go about this? You know, this is why I always suggest to my students that every so often, take your practices back to the beginning. Re-immerse yourself into the studies and the practices. Get reconnected to the currents that you walk. Remember why you got into black magic, why you got into sorcery, and what you expected from sorcery, and begin anew. You got to remember that as you grow, so does your sorcery. It's not just your altar room is not going to just sit there and stay the same. No, it's going to shrink. It's going to grow. It's going to evolve as you do. A lot of your rituals and your workings are going to utilize less tools, whereas others are going to require more. But taking your practice back to the beginning. This is something that I think everybody needs to do from time to time. It's consider it a refresher course on why. What made you get into magic? What attracted you to magic? What did you expect to happen through sorcery? And most importantly, why did it get dull? Why did it get boring? Most importantly for you, you got to ask one question. Where do I go from here? And going back to the beginning will help you to not only revisit your past and your present, but it will help you discover the future. So there's a lot that you can do. Learning and growing self-evolution never stops. You never stop learning, you never stop growing, you never stop evolving. And you got to remember that the left-hand path is about you, the individual. It's about where you take the magic. You are your own god. You are your own sorcerer or sorceress. And only you can discern where you go and where you take it. All right? And with that said, I want to thank everybody for participating in this. Have a good day. Amazon said that your parts were delivered.